Hello and welcome to BusyWorksBeats.com. I had a realization recently, and it's about AI vocals. So, for example, as we see with Warner going after Suno, the question is, what is the future of Suno with Warner being the source of their material? And I had a thought. I thought to myself, what if a Warner artist was the main vocal model? For example, some megastar that everybody loves, and they allow people to use their vocal model to make different songs. And if they approve of the song, this is the question mark is, are they going to approve of the songs, or does it go through some kind of curation process? I think what may happen is for like megastars, they may have a process where like almost like BBL Drizzy, where it just got so much hype that it became a hit song. So I think what's going to happen is, potentially speaking, they're going to take the platform and all the stuff they trained with the model, and they're going to also include vocal models, potentially speaking, and whoever creates the best song with the vocal model that gets the most attention, I think that will be considered for potential release. But I can't see a world where these big record labels like Warner Music, for example, is just going to allow any and everybody to have the vocal model that's trained on their multi-tracks of the actual vocal. Because the issue that people run into is not just somebody making a cover of a famous artist and putting it out. I think the issue they run into is the quality, because people are extracting stems from different songs. Like they may go to a Drake song and take out the vocal using different technology, but it's not the cleanest vocal. It may have artifacts or little glitches in there, things that don't make the vocal sound good and distort it. And what the difference is, if Warner, for example, is giving Suno the completely clean vocal chain, meaning like, with the perfect processing on it, separate from other instruments, it could distinguish the clarity of the vocal. So you're going to get a much more clean vocal if they allow this process to happen. And with that super clean vocal of the celebrity, instead of the garbage kind of the weights that we're using right now, you have the super clean version. And the question is, are they going to allow us to release songs? Because those songs can be confused as real songs from the actual artist. So I think maybe, if anything, they'll have an internal walled garden of release. So maybe they do approve of the songs, but they only get released on Suno, for example, and that might incentivize fans to come over to a Suno to stream it on Suno, therefore giving legs to the like I said, my hypothesis is that these companies are trying to create their own streaming company because they want to rid Spotify of being the middleman. They don't want Spotify to control their destiny, so they want to create their own platform. And I think from a business perspective, if I wanted the leverage, I would say, okay, I'll let people use my Suno platform to, use my celebrity vocals, but the way you guys release them legally is by going through this platform. Therefore, all the attention and all the traffic comes to this platform. So we're going to take this 100 million users up to 200, 300 million users, and it's going to grow almost bigger than Spotify, potentially speaking. So there's still tech to be built and all that type of stuff. But I guess what I'm trying to say here is that here's the thing that a lot of people don't understand is how the music industry actually works. So if you don't know me, I'm Game from BusyWorksBeats.com. We train over 1 million producers around the world. Some of them going to work with Drake, Kanye West, Post Malone, Ariana Grande, French Montana, Young Thug, Polo G, Trippie Redd, J. Cole, Kendrick Lamar, Glorilla. We have now 3 Grammy winners and multi-platinum plaque producers. So after training those folks, I don't think the average person who is looking, from the outside in understands how the music industry actually works. Now, some people may consider AI vocals lazy, like why not just hire the artist or whatever the case may be, but I don't think people understand. Here's the process. A producer may be at home, okay, they make a perfect beat, it sounds cool, but that beat doesn't mean anything unless it turns into a song. So the beat goes over to a songwriter. If you're more professional, usually speaking, a lot of producers get around what are called songwriters. So they'll take this beat that they created in FL Studio, Logic Pro, Ableton Live, Reason Studios, Reaper, wherever, and Machine, MPC. Okay, they'll take that beat, they'll combine it with a top line or a singer-songwriter who hops on that song to create demos. You guys have heard of Quentin Miller, for example, with Drake. I'm trying to think who else. James Fauntleroy was a great artist who created demos, I'm sure. So there are these songwriters who stand out from the bunch, but there are a lot of songwriters that you guys don't understand. You take a producer's beat, you combine it with a songwriter who creates the demo for the song, and they take that song, okay, and they pitch it to the actual artist. So they're not selling beats, they're selling songs to these artists. And that's the fundamental misunderstanding that a lot of folks have, is they don't comprehend that is how the music industry has worked for years now. The singers, most people think singers write songs. If you ever heard a singer write a song, it's probably really bad lyrics, and you could kind of tell that they didn't really write that song. Or that they wrote the song because it didn't feel like the rest of their records. Now, the songs that really stand out are usually written by a team of people. So you have singer-songwriters as musicians, you have singer-songwriters as singers, you have singer-songwriters as even producers who, give ideas. There's different ways to be a songwriter. But again, what the process is, the producer makes the beat, the songwriter hops on the beat most of the time, okay? And then they pitch that idea, that product, to a major because the major has way more attention. You could technically release it with just you and the songwriter, but you guys don't have a buzz or a community or an audience. So you're saying, okay, you're willing to sacrifice this product that sounds really, really good, but you're going to have to sell it to a major because they just have a bigger bag and they have more opportunities. So that's usually the trade-off that happens with songwriters. And they sacrifice some of themselves. I think P&D, Party Next Door, was even songwriting, if I'm not mistaken, for other folks. So the thing is, again, when you understand that flow, producers make the beat, singer-songwriters, make the beat a thing, a product into a song. That's kind of what a producer is. They kind of guide it from being a beat into a full song. Okay, now we have this full song. We're going to pitch it to Drake. And now Drake will perform the song. Okay, so that's the main difference, is looking at singers on the main stage, almost like actors. Think about it. They're on tour 200 something days out of the year. They don't have time to sit down and write and think. They're on a tour bus, they're on a flight. They just don't have time to be constantly trying to be in the studio all of the time. So they have to buy time back. And that's why they buy songs, because songs ultimately are just iterations of ideas. When you're in the studio, you might make a hit, you might not. There's not a hit every single time. So you're basically saying, I'll buy a song from all these thousands of people who took all their time to find that one song out of all the thousands of songs that were created, and I'll buy it from them instead of me spending 50,000 hours to try to figure out the one song. So that's their benefit as a big artist. So again, my thought process is I don't think enough people understand that process. So when it comes to AI vocals, it's pretty much the same thing. This time around, we don't have just one singer-songwriter and one singer-songwriter production duo. Now we have the whole world creating ideas, and now you can buy more time. So if I was a megastar, if my ultimate goal is just to find the hit song that works, all I have to do is go on the platform like Suno, for example, license out my vocal model, and then have the Suno creators, whoever they are, whether the songwriters or just average folks, come in and create their draft of songs. So essentially now the world becomes the songwriter, and now they're buying lots of time. And that's what an artist would love, is to buy lots of time. Again, a lot of fans, they think the artist sat there and they came from their soul and wrote these lyrics. A lot of them didn't. And it's not to take away from their talent. They can perform and really deliver those words and make it believable. But, it's almost like a good film. Like, Will Smith did not write the script, but he's a great actor to make you feel like he was that character and he wrote it from his heart. So the same thing with artists. It doesn't take away from the craft to not write the lyrics. Lyrics are simply ideas that you put into a machine. The same way lyrics are ideas you put into the Suno machine, and out comes, vocals. So the same thing with an artist. Lyrics from songwriters or producers come into the artist, they perform it. And the same thing really with song ideas in general. So I just wanted to, show you guys how the music industry works, because this is not a foreign concept for people to generate their own vocals. This is not some anti-music industry thing. This has been happening. It's just the songwriters never get enough attention for the masses to really know that's the process. So just wanted to introduce you guys to that, because I never thought to bring this up before, but I will say it does help my hypothesis about Warner taking over Suno to potentially create a Spotify competitor. Because again, if they can leverage their vocal models to bring in all the fans who want to create songs and good songwriters, then they could license out their vocal model, and the person with the best song or the highest views on Suno may potentially get a deal or an opportunity with the artist to work directly and create songs for them, or just the one-off, sell that song and we'll buy the rights from it. I'm not sure how that will work, but that's my guess, and we'll see in the coming days. Let me know what you guys think below. It's Game from BusyWorksBeats.com. Peace out, guys.